Hi, I'm Katie Stilp. I'm the local history librarian at Appleton Public Library, and today I'm going to quickly show you all about the library's Veterans Grave Registration database. Our database has information on over 500 Fox River area veterans that range from the War of 1812 to World War I, though the majority of the entries in the database are from veterans who served in the Civil War and World War I. Most of the registrations, although it includes the Fox River area, are those that are buried in Appleton cemeteries like Riverside, St. Joseph's, St. Mary's, and Zion, though there are a few cemeteries in Little Chute and one in Combined Locks that's also featured in this database. The information featured in the database was originally gathered by the VFW Harvey Pierre Post of Appleton and later donated to the library. That information is displayed on a typed card format, which was then scanned and uploaded to the database. You can also find the original cards in the library in binders if you'd like to look at them that way. So what information is included in the database? Well, each of the typed cards includes information such as the veteran's name, their last known address, the war in which they participated, which military service organization, like a unit or a regiment, that they participated in, the date they enlisted, the date they were discharged, their rank, their date of death, cemetery information, including what cemetery, what grave, lot, and section number they're in, their date of birth, and their next of kin. Just be aware that the information on the cards was not created at the time of the death of the veteran, so you're going to want to verify every piece of information on the card with additional research to confirm or deny any of these facts. We'll do a live demonstration in just a second, but to search the database, you want to go to our website, apl.org/vetgraves. And from there, you can search by name, either the last name and or first name. And it's really great when you start typing in on the database, it starts to return results based on what you're typing in to account for some of the potential misspelling. So if you have a name that might be spelled a couple different ways, if you start typing and give the database a second, it'll start returning the results. And you can click on ones that might match your ancestor or the person that you're looking for. It also is helpful if there are abbreviations or initials used in the first name or middle name field. If you have difficulty finding that person by name, you can also search by war, or if you just want to learn all about specific veterans from one specific war, for example, you could just put in Civil War and it will return all the Civil War veterans. You could also search just by cemetery, for example, searching just Riverside Cemetery veterans that are buried there, or you could search by rank, such as all the captains or all the colonels, for example. There's a couple additional options like searching by date to search a date of birth or a date of death. And for those dates, they can either be an exact date or a range of dates, anywhere from a few days to a few months to even years. You also can do multiple search criteria in a search. So for example, if you wanted to find all the Civil War veterans that are buried in Riverside Cemetery, you'd select those options in the database before you hit search. One important thing to note before you start searching in the database, you want to make sure that you aren't using an incognito or a private browsing window, or the database isn't going to work correctly. Now I'll show you a live demonstration of how the database works and how you're able to pull up the information on the various veterans. So as I mentioned before, you can either go to apl.org/vetgraves, or if you just want to start at our website, apl.org, it's pretty easy to get to that database. So starting at apl.org, you can see right here is an e-library area that you're going to want to hover over. And then one of the last options is APL created. Since this is a database that staff has created to make it searchable, this is considered an APL created database. So you want to click on that. It's going to give you a list of all of those databases, and then at the very bottom you can see the Veterans Grave Registration database, which you want to click on. So this brings you right into the database, or again, you could type in on your search bar up here, apl.org/vetgraves, and it will bring you directly to this database without having to click through on the website. So from here, you can again search by name or browse by war or cemetery. So for example, if I want to find my ancestor, Ira Holmes, I might start typing in his last name. So H-O-M-E-S. L, and now you can see it started to fill in some information. So if I take away that L, you can see there's other names that start with HO. So I can click on Holmes, and then I'm not sure, is he listed by Ira or Ira Jesse Shepherd, which is his middle name, or is he listed by some initials? So in the first name field, I'm going to start typing Ira, and then you can see it returns a result for Ira C or Ira JS. Well, I know my ancestor's middle name was Jesse Shepherd, so it's going to be this guy that I want to click on. Now I can go ahead and click the search bar. Now we're at the typed information card that again was compiled by the VFW and scanned in. So on the card you can see here's his name, his last known address, the war that he participated in, there's an X right there for the Civil War. You can see what unit and company he participated in, what branch of the military it was, when he enlisted, when he was discharged, the date he died, what his rank was, where he's buried, what city it's in, of course, information on his grave, including that number, that lot, that section, any remarks. Here's his date of birth, his next of kin, and then there's actually a spot also for information where it was provided. So we know that this information included on this card came from the cemetery sexton and the library. And then it also goes into more detail about the marker that he has at the cemetery, where the data was received by and what date. So you can see this data actually came to the VFW in 1935, even though Ira died in 1916. So again, this is why you want to be sure to verify what information you're finding on this card with other research to confirm it. Going back to the database, I just wanted to show you quickly that you can also search by other criteria. So like I mentioned before, you could select a war. So say I didn't find Ira in that listing, perhaps I could just select Civil War and then click search. Then it's going to give me a listing of all of the Civil War veterans in this whole entire database. So you can quickly see just a brief overview of some of the information. And then it takes a second sometimes, but all the images of the cards will load here on the left-hand side. So once you see one that you want to look at, you can just click on that image and it will bring you into that area. And you can see some of the cards look a little bit different, but the information that's included in there is the same. Going back to the database, I want to show you again another way that you could search is by cemetery. So under cemetery, you can click select and you can see the various cemeteries that are listed in here. Some are not even listed, so that is an option. So for example, I could select Riverside and click search, and then it's going to give me a result of all of the veterans in this database that are buried in Riverside, regardless of what war that they participated in. So again, you can see all the results here, and then click on their card on the left-hand side. I also wanted to point out that you can click on any of these and sort them that way. So if you wanted to sort by war, for example, it's going to give you all the Civil War veterans. And if we scroll, 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 it's going to eventually give us other wars. So there's lots of Civil War veterans in Riverside Cemetery, but eventually we're going to be able to find those that are part of the World War I. So now you can see now it's World War I veterans on this page. So again, that's just one way that you can sort. You could also sort by date of death or date of birth or the last name or the first name. Back at the database again, you can also search by date. So you can see right down here, there's an option that says search by date. If it's toggled to no, you're not going to get the date fields. But if you toggle to yes and click on it, it expands to give you those date fields. So the first ones are going to be the date of birth ones. So they have an exact date of birth. Or if you're looking for a range, you can use these two boxes, starting with one date and ending with another. And then same for the date of death. This is for the exact date of death or for a range. So for example, if I know a date of death, I would type it in here. So 7/23/1916. I can just type it in, or I can use this calendar. I feel like it's a little easier just to use typing it in and not using the calendar. Once you have that date in, you can just click search. So now here's Ira's card again, because he's the only one who died on that specific date. Going back to the database, you can also search by a date range, either by birth dates or death dates. So for example, if I wanted to see certain people who were born or died on a certain date, I could put the date range in here. So for example, if I wanted to see who died in a specific 10-year period, I could type in that 10-year period. So I could put 1/1 of 1900 to 1/1 of 1910. And again, you can put in multiple days in here if you want to do like a week span or a month span or a year or multiple years. This is completely freely open to whatever dates you want to type in here. So once you put those dates in there, go ahead and click search. And now you can see all the date of deaths are going to be within that 10-year period. And again, you can click on this to sort it. So first it's going to sort one way. If you want to sort it the opposite way, that it's the oldest to more current, you could click that again, and it's going to start at that 1900 date and then go to 1909. If you'd like to learn more about researching military records, check out our YouTube video we have linked here that goes in depth about what records are available and how to use them. If you have any questions as you're using any of the databases, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on the screen, kstilp@apl.org, or you can give our reference desk a call at 920-832-6173. Happy researching!